per dare vita al primo Hangout di una serie di tanti avvenimenti che avverranno nel corso dell'estate, un progetto realizzato da Google e Zero che vive sulla pagina di Google Plus Zero Musica. Andremo in giro per l'estate, andremo in giro per i maggiori festival italiani, quindi mi raccomando, seguiteci sempre anche perché si parte alla grande. Innanzitutto vi diamo un piccolo consiglio: tenete i vostri microfoni su off fino a che non vi do la parola per parlare con il nostro artista. Abbiamo il piacere di essere qui con Mika.
Ciao. Hey. This is like
Oh, you're so elegant.
I tried.
Yeah, you are. Don't worry. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Hello. Hi.
Yesterday.
This is actually the first time I've ever done anything like this.
Yeah, for us the same. So,
Really? Okay,
yeah.
good. So if it all goes wrong.
Well, never mind. It's an experiment. Yesterday you played in Vigevano. How was the show?
It was great. It was great. The place is amazing. I didn't expect it to be so beautiful.
Yeah,
and
it is.
The crowd was great, and I tried a lot of new songs. And also, there were so many mosquitoes. I think I kept on swallowing them. They kept on getting into my mouth. But it was cool. Mosquitoes. I think I swallowed them.
Keep your mic on. Okay.
So, you know what I said, if it all goes wrong?
That's one of those cases. You're here to present your new album, The Origin of Love, coming out in September.
Yes.
How does it sound like? What is it
sounds,
about?
well, it's like this giant, joyful tapestry of an album. There's a lot of songs that I really love on it. And some of them you can check out on YouTube now, the live versions, like from Vigevano. I sang The Origin of Love last night, and you can hear Celebrate, and you can hear all these different songs. But it's very happy, it's very joyful.
And there are a lot of collaborations in it.
Well, what I wanted to do is I wanted to set up a sort of collective or a team around me, so that I felt like I wasn't making music on my own. You know, when you're in a band, you're surrounded by people to kind of feel like you're making a record with a team of people. For me, I never have that luxury, so I thought it would be a good idea to find interesting people that I thought made pop music in the same way that I do, and to kind of have them around so that we could influence each other and inspire each other. That's the reason why, you know, in the end I ended up writing on an Empire of the Sun record, because I was working with the guys from Empire of the Sun. So they're on my record, I'm on their record. It's this exchange. I ended up on a Madonna record as a result of this. And the whole thing was like, okay, I make music within a community. Just because it's pop music doesn't mean that the community has to disappear. So often it's an industry where it's just like, you know, it's just so aggressive, and you forget that actually you're making music, and there's no reason, just because you're not at music college or school anymore, you should be able to make it surrounded by people that you're having fun with.
In which ways do you think you're grown up with respect to your second album? I mean, musically talking.
Musically, I think that I said to myself, I made a conscious decision that I wanted to make a record where I didn't take anything for granted. So I was like, I want to feel like I'm a new artist. And, you know, if this record is good, it's good because it's good, not because of what I've done before. And I was like, I want to make something that's bold and that has colors and that has life, and like a brave pop record from the 70s. You know, I listened to Fleetwood Mac, I listened to the Bee Gees, I listened to a lot of Beck, who I love, and just these bold, cool pop records.
So you want to get rid of the pressure on the third record, because it's always hard to make a third record. Your debut was such a huge success, then it was the second one. Well, you always have a lot of pressure on the second album,
Yeah.
a lot of expectations. So you want to start again with this third album.
I think it's important to always have a moment, no matter what you do as a creative person, whether you are designing, drawing, writing, anything, you always have to say to yourself and give yourself the luxury to say, okay, this 5-year period has come, I have to change. I have to shake everything up. I have to make something that I think is beautiful and bold. I'm not the kind of artist that can walk into a studio and say, give me a song so that I can get on radio. If I do that, I sound like shit. I mean, even artists that like, I don't know, I think if you could give me a song that could work for someone else, but because it's not mine, if I try to sing it, it'll sound awful. So I have to make bold, interesting records. When it comes to pressure, I think, I don't know, I feel pressure all the time. I mean, I feel pressure before I walk onto the stage in Vigevano last night. It's this constant thing. I think that if you don't feel that, there's probably something wrong with you, because there's no desire.
You miss the energy. Let's see if there's someone who wants to talk. Who's speaking?
Do I get to choose?
Catherine.
Yeah, you should choose.
Hello, Catherine.
Hello, Mika. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? I like your kind of like American football NASA space control thing you've got on your head.
You know, I'm from Paraguay, and I'm a big fan of you. From Paraguay. And I want to say that you have so many fans here, and we're still waiting for you in also America, and but especially in Paraguay.
¿De dónde vienes?
De Paraguay.
De Paraguay. Wow,
Sí.
This is amazing.
¿Escuchaste alguna vez? Sí.
That's awesome. That's cool. Nice to meet you. I need to do a proper South American tour. I'm looking at my manager who's sitting on the sofa behind me, and I'm like, when? So you have to write emails to CAA, my agents, and just say it. Like,
Yeah.
bombard them with letters and emails. Anyway.
What's your question?
No. And my question is, your fans club wants to know if you will come here for a gift about the origin of love.
One of my main intentions. Oh, sorry. You wanna?
I actually.
If I'm gonna go touring around South America for the
Okay.
origin of love.
Amici
I'm the
di-
translator.
Yeah, exactly. Catherine is.
Can I speak?
Del Paraguay ed è molto curiosa di sapere se Mika andrà mai in tour in Sud America, perché in realtà c'è molta aspettativa, ci sono un sacco di fan e la fanbase sta aspettando da tanto tempo. Mika stesso dice che gli piacerebbe un sacco e invita Catherine e tutti i suoi amici a scrivere al manager in modo che questo tour in Sud America venga organizzato al più presto.
One of my objectives with this record was to do a South American tour, a proper one, for the first time. I've never done it before, and do interesting venues as well. And so I really hope that they can make it happen for me. It's definitely something I want to make happen. It'll probably be in 2013.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mika.
Thank you, Catherine.
And can I?
All right, let's go. We were talking about That's not that easy. Actually.
No, it's not very easy.
Not that
That's
easy.
why I was saying, if we could like push which person to speak to. Oh, here, Frank Umberto Malpi.
Malpi something.
Malpi something. Can you wait? We can't hear you yet.
Can you hear us?
Yeah. Can
Hi.
you hear me?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Where are you?
Español, porque yo no hablo muy bien el inglés.
Okay, entonces, si puedes hablar en español, pero
Oh, wow.
despacio.
Ok.
Okay, pero no puedo oírte. Habla un poquito más fuerte, por favor.
Ahora, ¿me escuchas allí?
Io non faccio più not doing anything anymore. I'll leave you alone.
¿De dónde vienes?
Yo soy también de Sudamérica, de Venezuela.
De Venezuela. Encantado.
Encantado igual. Pero vivo en Italia.
Tengo muchos fans de Venezuela, de Colombia, de Paraguay, de San Salvador en Twitter. Y todo el tiempo hay muchos mensajes en Twitter. Y I see them, you know. I see them all the time.
Do you have any questions?
¿Qué quieres
for
preguntar?
Mika?
Ok, te hago mi pregunta. Te la hago en español. Non so se quelli che parlate italiano capisci un po'. El niño que sabía demasiado, como el título de tu álbum, ya era consciente de que con su forma particular de concebir y vivir la música, se convertiría en una figura importante para una gran parte de personas y especialmente ídolos de, como los que tú decías, la Gold People, la Golden People, que se han sentido inspirados y alentados y han sentido propias cada una de las palabras de sus letras.
Okay, now.
Okay.
¿Me han entendido? ¿Sí o no?
Hay una manera que puedes preguntar esta pregunta más fácil, más simple, porque es un poquito difícil de comprender todo. Entonces, puedes preguntar de otra vez, pero un poquito más simple, por favor.
Or in Italian, maybe.
Or in Italian. Okay, we can't hear him. Okay, start again.
No, we need to go on. Well, we'll try to talk you back later, Frank.
Frank, wait there.
Wait there for us. We were talking about the origin of love, and I was wondering, are you in love right now?
Maybe that's what Frank was asking. I don't know.
No, that
I don't
was
think no.
something
Frank
more
was actually
complicated.
asking me a really good question from the bits I understood, but I can't answer it. Yes, but mind your own business. Yes, I am.
Okay. We were also talking about your collaboration with Madonna and DNA.
Yeah, it was completely an accident. It was not, like I say, just because people are so unused to, it's so unusual for people in pop music to exchange ideas or to work with each other that anytime it happens they consider it to be a collaboration, when the reality is it was just the result of something that happened. I wrote a song in 15 minutes called Bang Bang with a friend of mine, Priscilla Renee, and it ended up being heard by Madonna because we worked on it with William Orbit, who had written the track. And she heard it, she loved it, she sang her own version, and then she adapted it to fit the record and to fit her concept. And I hear a lot of the things, it started with Bang Bang, the concept and this gun idea, and it turned into something that was darker, a little sleazier in a good way, and a little, more obviously hard-hitting and violent, but there's still, a lot of the lyrics are still the same and stuff like that. So it was really the result of allowing yourself to be surrounded by other musicians who are also making records. Again, it wasn't a traditional collaboration. To tell you the truth, most of this was actually possible because, I use Dropbox and we use ways of sending files over the internet or Skype or whatever. We were constantly making music in different parts of the world with lots of different people.
How was meeting her? I mean, was she one of your icons?
That's the thing. I never even met her making this song.
Okay.
I had met her before, and yes, it's Madonna. I mean, anyone, even if you don't like her music, it's still Madonna. It's like I've grown up with the era of the true superstar. This superstar that takes 10 years to become a superstar from the 80s and from the 90s. That era is gone. I mean, I grew up with like Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson and Madonna and all these people who had taken 15 years to play stadiums. Now, it seems like, you can have a superstar, and I won't mention anyone, but you can have a superstar who becomes a superstar in a year. They play a stadium, and then what? It's like it's a very different process. So growing up with it, inevitably, someone like a Madonna or a Michael Jackson becomes royalty in the music industry and in our world and pop culture, because that thing just almost doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. So when I met her, I was terrified. I was like, there's very few people that I'd be like, I don't know what the fuck to say to you, but it's nice to meet you. I was like, I can't believe I just said nice to meet you. It's like, can you think of something better?
Her Majesty.
She's like, yeah, hi. It's like, yeah, hi.
Yeah, now this big divas doesn't exist anymore, also because, as you were saying, it takes 1 year to play on a big stadium, but it's really hard to last.
It's hard to because I think with the internet you communicate what you create so quickly, right? So the speed of communication has sped up, but it still takes just as long to make the stuff that you want to share with people. So although it's easier to share, the process of making something good still takes a year or 2 years. And so that's where the kind of there's a weirdness between those two things.
Yeah, there's a kind of invasion of the medias, but apart from that, nowadays, do you think there are some new icons of the new generation of artists, or it's all wasted?
No, I think there definitely are, icons. I think that there's a lot of people making incredible music, and it's like bubbling, and it bubbles and it bubbles, and it just keeps on going. And I think with the internet now, you can have a niche market more than you ever could have before. There's a really interesting artist that's called Sufjan Stevens, and Sufjan Stevens makes these amazing records, and it's just, people pass them around on the internet. They discover them in that way. Jessie Ware, a new artist that is going to just blow the world in about a few months. It's like we're all discovering it and sharing what we can find on the internet, and it's something very powerful about that.
Let's go back to our friends. Let's see if Frank's still there.
No, we
have Thea. Hello, Thea.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
I wanted to ask you something. I'm here.
No, but where?
She's in Milan.
Oh, no, well now I'm in Slovenia.
Okay.
Represent. I wanted to ask you something, not about yourself, sorry. I wanted to know what you think about Kim Kardashian and Kanye West together. And as, let's say, a music icon, if you would ever have that type of relationship to promote yourself. Or if you think they're just like really genuinely in love, what do you think about it?
I think, well, I think that Kanye West is, just to make it clear, and even when you sit with him in a room, and if you get him on a day where he's kind of feeling cool and he's not stressed out, he's extremely fascinating. He's extremely intelligent and really, really good at what he does. He is the man that pulls together those records. He makes these records that are like a crazy tapestry. Like there's no bullshit there. Like he is putting it together. Sure, he has a lot of help and great collaborators and great team, but he's a very interesting, fascinating artist, full of contradictions though. Mm-hmm. Like he can say something and then mean something completely different, and he can create something one day and then something else. So his contradictions are what make him kind of interesting, and so you wouldn't necessarily think, I've never met Kim Kardashian and I don't know what she's really like, but you wouldn't think, oh, he's gonna end up with her, but you know what, maybe he thinks that she's really hot, and he probably thought that she was hot, and then after that he probably realized that he liked her as well, and then it probably really works. And,
that's really romantic.
And I think it's kind of like, just because they're kind of really rich and really famous, at the end of the day when they close the bedroom door, they probably still have to be alone, just like anyone else in the world has to be alone. So there must be something there, and I hope there is. And who am I to judge it or to have an opinion on it? All I know is that when you close that bedroom door, you're just like anyone else.
Well, but what famous person do you want to like famously marry / date / be obsessed with?
Do I want to hook up with and have an
I feel like you need to be in the tabloids more. Like you're mostly just known for being like really positive and a great musician, but like you need to start causing some drama bombs. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? Why don't you interview me more often?
I really want to.
Well, obviously you're very good. Sorry. But you're totally right. I don't know. When I first came on the scene and I first started doing stuff like, especially in the UK, they were like, oh, he's gonna be like and I guess fundamentally, what do you have, like 16 kids in there or something? And then I'm so ridiculously private, and I don't know why I'm that way. I sincerely don't know why I'm that way. And maybe I shouldn't be. And I always, it's funny, amongst my crew, when we're like backstage and we're rehearsing and stuff, I'm always like, you know what? If I was more of a kind of tabloid celebrity, it would be so much easier to push this thing. And
it would.
But at the same time, I don't think you understand the reality of what being a tabloid celebrity is. I mean, maybe you do. I don't know if you've ever experienced it or gone out with someone, or I don't know. But you have to realize how incredibly distracting something like that would be. Like, it's very destructive. You start to, because you start living your press release, you start believing your press release.
But isn't that the point? I feel like, okay.
That's the point if you can still stay good. But there are not that many artists that can still approach their work creatively in the same way and kind of exploit their personal life in every aspect as well. It's not like before. Like before, you could kind of have a little bit of control. Like, sure, there was a media frenzy like around Madonna all the time. But now it's like an internet media frenzy. It's different. It's just like a lot more invasive. I seem to think. But then again, a lot of that stuff you can't really plan unless that's all you want to plan. And sometimes it just happens, and sometimes it may just happen to me. And I hope that if it does, I'll be ready. And if it, and if it doesn't, I'm still making my music with the same sincerity and building up my fan base all over the world. And I can play venues everywhere and keep on growing and building in that way. And that's something that I can do simply because I can do things like this and actually talk to you, which that never would have been possible before.
Okay, Ted, don't worry, I'll give your email to Mika, but let's see if there's somebody who wants to speak.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Who's there? Nastasia. Hello. We cannot hear you. Turn on the mic. Turn on your microphone.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello,
hey.
Where are you from?
Hi, Mika. I'm from Barbados.
Wow.
Oh, cool. Are you there now?
Yes, I'm there now.
Lucky bitch.
Thank you. You're free to come anytime.
I've been there. I went there once. I rented a scooter and I scooted around every part of Barbados, for 14 hours, and I ran out of petrol in the middle of some field. I think it was like a sugarcane field or something like that.
Probably, yeah.
And the guy picked me up and took my on the back of his truck and took me to somewhere where I could get petrol. It's like actually one of my happiest teenage memories. That 22 hours in Barbados, and then I just sat drinking beer on the beach.
When was that?
I was like 16, 17, drinking beer on the beach in Barbados.
Don't worry, that's legal drinking age here.
Yeah, cool.
What's your question, Nastasia?
I have two really brief, quick questions. First one is, are you going to tour North America, and when? In North America, I am. When am I touring I'm touring North America in October and November. End of October.
Whoa.
Just end of October, so I am. Yeah, I've just been told. I knew it was happening. I wasn't sure what the date was, but I'm touring in North America in October.
Oh, thank you so much. That's awesome to hear. And the next thing, in an interview you recently said you saw Hedwig and the Angry Inch, and in that movie there's a song called The Origin of Love. Did that influence you at all when you came up with your title?
Obviously, I heard that title in a few kind of books and stuff, and also in that musical. And I'm an enormous fan of John Cameron Mitchell and also of Stephen Trask. So it was kind of embedded in me. I think that piece of writing, Hedwig and the Angry Inch, as a piece of writing, is probably one of the most important pieces of writing, at least from my generation, kind of musically and it's punk, but it's approachable punk. It's so subversive,
Yes.
yet it's not screaming at you over the head. It's a lot more dangerous than that because it's appealing and flirts with you, and you get kind of into the whole thing. And I thought it was seminal, and I think the origin of love in Hedwig and the Angry Inch is something that is really, really, really special. So was it by osmosis? Maybe, yes. But my approach, I certainly wasn't thinking of it when I wrote the lyrics and writing the song on, my version of that song. I kind of like the idea that it's a subject matter, and I really think it would be cool if someone in like 2 years or something, or even whatever, another artist wrote a song called The Origin of Love, and then you could kind of see the origin of love according
the evolution.
The origin of love according to Mika, the origin of love according to Kim Kardashian. Like, whatever, is the origin of love according to Kim Kardashian is clearly Kanye West. But I don't know. I think it's the things I say in there, and the concept is a very different one to the one that's in Hedwig and the Angry Inch. And the one in Hedwig and the Angry Inch is one that I absolutely swear to God, you've got to see it, and you've got to see the animated video that goes with it, because it's incredible. Mine is very different, but I love the through flow of that. So if you feel like writing one according to you, maybe that would be a cool competition, actually.
I'll think about it.
Maybe we could do write the origin of love according to you in some way, like a drawing or a song or a poem or a story. That or a film. That would be a cool project.
Yeah.
Google, pay for it.
Thanks.
Abbiamo parlato di tour in Sud America che ancora non ci sono, ma probabilmente presto arriveranno, di tour in Nord America che invece arriveranno quest'autunno, degli amori di Kanye West e del fatto che esistano già delle canzoni intitolate The Origins of Love, sperando che poi magari ne arrivino delle altre, di cosa queste canzoni possono contenere a livello di significati. Adesso però facciamo parlare un'amica italiana, facciamo parlare Benedetta. Ciao Benedetta.
Ciao, mi sentite?
Ti sentiamo, parla un po' più forte. Speak a bit louder, please.
Okay, hi.
Hi.
So nervous. Okay, I'll try to speak English. And
Thank you. Actually, speak Italian.
You speak Italian and I'll translate.
Yeah.
So I can do something.
Italiano, mi ricordo una volta vidi un'intervista, sentii un'intervista alla radio e mi ricordo che capiva l'italiano, è così? O mi sbaglio?
Come scusa?
Mi ricordo che lui capiva un po' di italiano.
She once heard an interview on the radio and she thought that you could understand Italian.
I do understand Italian. I don't understand Italian when it's coming out of these speakers. Just like I didn't understand Frank's Spanish, because it's so hard to understand. But I do understand Italian because I speak French and I speak some Spanish. So I figure out the rest. And I speak a little bit, but...
Lo capisce, dice che sapendo il francese e lo spagnolo da lì poi arriva a capire qualcosa. Ovviamente da questi speaker sia lui che io non siamo in grado di capire alcuna lingua esistente al mondo, soprattutto ci dispiace per il nostro amico Frank spagnolo. C'è qualcos'altro che volevi chiedere?
Volevo chiedere Lessi lui scrive per XL e mi pare qualche anno fa Lessi che raccontava di essere stato in vacanza in Italia quando era bambino. E volevo sapere dove era stato e se magari era mai stato vicino a Napoli, visto che io vengo da qui, da Napoli.
She read that when you were a young guy, you came on vacation here in Italy.
Bordighera and Sanremo.
And she was wondering if you ever been in Naples, because she is from Naples.
I've never been to Naples. I've never been to Naples. I've always wanted to. I want to do a big proper trip in Italy. I spend a lot of my holidays still now, along the coast in Italy and stuff like that. But I'd like to do a road trip.
E se quindi ci saranno altre date dopo che girano in Italia, magari anche una...
Are you coming back to Italy, maybe for other dates also in Naples?
I know that I have one show planned at the moment in November.
Okay.
2 shows.
2 shows. Where?
Dove? Where?
They will be announced in 2 days. 2 shows in Italy in the autumn, in 2 days. They will be announced.
Ok, quindi altri show nel nostro paese quest'autunno, tra 2 giorni verranno anche annunciate le date, rimanete con noi, mi raccomando amici, noi vi salutiamo, stiamo anche per congedare il nostro amico Mika che
Who's
ci
the
è
guy with the headphones on? You've got
Yeah.
the arrow over here. Davide.
Davide, ci sei rimasto solo tu Davide?
Sì.
Ciao
Hey,
Davide.
how Mika? How are you?
Good, thank you.
Di dove sei?
Right. Sono di Milano.
Oh, he's from Milan, so
Cool, that,
Ok.
Yeah,
Another
Giorgio,
Italian.
join us on the sofa. Vieni con noi sul divano.
Ah, siete a Milano? Allora vivo. Allora, faccio la domanda in italiano, se no non finiamo più. Volevo sapere un po' il percorso di ascolti musicale di Mika, nel senso, se ha sempre ascoltato pop music o se ha spaziato anche in diversi generi, nel senso io da giovane ascoltavo il metal, il punk, questi generi un po' più scuri, diciamo, e complicati, per arrivare poi ad ascoltare il pop rock. E volevo sapere se anche Mika ha avuto un percorso del genere.
When he was younger, he used to listen to metal, to punk. So he was wondering if you, in your career, in your life, have ever listened to other music genres to arrive to pop rock as he did.
if I told you that I hardly listen to that much pop music, would you believe me? I mean,
of course.
Yeah, I mean, I completely, I think, here's the thing. I grew up listening to music when I started when I was really young, and my parents had all these records, and so it was never like, I never had any posters on my wall. To me, it was just music. So I used to listen to Serge Gainsbourg. I don't know if you know who that is. I used to listen to Nina Simone. I was obsessed with reggae from a very early age. My first concert was Shabba Ranks in Virginia, in the States, where I went with my aunts, and I loved Bob Marley and all that stuff. And at the same time, I studied classical music. So I would listen to Nirvana, and then I would listen to, you know, something by Sibelius or by Bach, and I was starting to do that from the age of like 12. So to me, it was like, it was finding this collage that I could put together of music, and that's how I formed my look. I think that I'm less into kind of like hard punk or metal and stuff like that now than I used to be. It was certainly where, like, when it came to Marilyn Manson, when he was at his heyday, the theatricality of Manson enabled me to really get into that world. You know, I guess I listen to a lot. I listen to a lot of music. I very seldom listen to pop music that's been made by a team of people with a bunch of executives and a budget, like, you know, like a record that's just written by songwriters and sung by a singer, because after like the first couple of listens, I don't really believe it much more. That's the problem that I have with it. And I always try to find people who have similar attitudes to music than I do to work with. So for example, I work with this guy called Klaus Arland. And figure this out. We were working in Stockholm on top of a bakery in his studio, and he was working on a song in French with me. That was the first song. He doesn't speak French. He speaks a bit of English. I don't speak Swedish. And he comes from a band called the Teddy Bears, which started off as a punk band and then ended up as this electronic symphonic band. And so this clash of all these different things makes really interesting records, in my opinion. It makes records that can be pop, but also can be really multifaceted and interesting at the same time. So yeah, I listen to a lot of different things. Like there's this guy called Milton Nascimento that I love. I listen to Paul Simon at the same time. I listen to the Kinks and the Doors, and sometimes I confuse myself. music I listen to.
Cioè abbiamo capito che Mika ascolta tutto tranne il pop. Da quando aveva 12 anni ha cominciato ad ascoltare generi su generi e proprio passando dal grunge alla musica classica, tutto questo collage ha fatto sì che si creasse proprio la sua base musicale, che lui potesse fare dischi in questo modo. Non ha avuto esperienze particolari con il punk o con il metal. Ricordavo un episodio simpatico di quando ha collaborato con un artista svedese a Stoccolma che suonava in una band chiamata Teddy Bears, che era una band punk, e loro si sono trovati...
To begin with.
Yeah. E poi si sono trovati a fare questa canzone in francese quando questa persona non parlava assolutamente francese, mentre lui non parlava svedese. Tuttavia così sono arrivati ad arrivare appunto a questa collaborazione. Amici, noi vi ringraziamo, andiamo avanti, chiudiamo la nostra intervista con Mika, so Mika, we have to say bye to our friends.
Oh wait, who have we missed?
Yeah, but just stay there because we have other things very special for you.
Oh.
Mika, what are your next plans for the future?
Well, I'm actually at Abbey Road on Monday.
Wow.
Well, I've booked the mastering of this album on Tuesday next week, and that's being mastered, which means it's like done. I had this feeling from the beginning that I wanted to have a different version of a song called Make You Happy, which was more symphonic, and have like this more aggressive electronic version and also a symphonic classical version almost. And also I've got a couple strings to put on different songs. So on Monday we're at Abbey Road in Studio 1 recording strings. We have to finish it by Tuesday morning on the 31st so that it can get mastered, and then I go straight to the airport and do a show in Tunisia on Tuesday night. So by Tuesday night I think my album will be finished, and I'm setting it up, you know, I'm getting it ready to share with people, and then I go on tour.
Ok, mancano pochi giorni e quindi l'album verrà terminato, fra pochissime ore si troverà negli studios di Abbey Road per fare una versione sinfonica di un brano che si chiama Make You Happy, al quale lui tiene moltissimo. Dopodiché andrà in Tunisia per qualche data, insomma l'album sta arrivando. Mika continuerà ad andare in tour, ma tornerà anche nel nostro paese.
And there's lots of interesting things happening, like we're making more short films, and there's one actually being filmed in Santiago in Chile by a really interesting director, and that's happening at the moment. And
what is it, a video, music video?
I'm making these short films instead of just making music videos, because a record company will torture you over a music video, and it's like it's got to do all these things. I figured let's find people who just want to do it almost for nothing and make these beautiful little films that can exist for lots of different songs. We did one for Make You Happy. It's online. You can check it out. Also, there's a lot of different things that I'm filming. Like I'm doing a radio show now, which I'm going to finish up the second episode soon. And I'm also doing these track by tracks where I talk about every single song in the album and talk you through how I built it, so you can understand how this crazy patchwork of a record has come together. And in the meantime, I will be following my friend's advice and be finding someone to have scandalous, naked affairs with, so that you can all read about me in all the tabloids. And I think you're fucking right.
I am right.
Yeah.